Welcome back, traders. In this video, we're going to talk about how to find high probability setups using price action. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you guys my trades that I took today, because I want to be fully transparent with you guys. I want to talk about a good lesson today. So today I took 3 trades. 2 of them were winners and 1 was a losing trade. The losing trade was right here and the 1 winner was right here. 1 winner was right here. But let's talk about first the beginning of the day. Well, the day started with the spike and a channel pattern. So we were making higher highs, higher lows consistently. Prices are above the EMA the entire time, and there's a geometrical pattern that these lows just formed. So there's a clear confirmation of this trend line, and we are working higher. We have a new high right here. We have a first entry long, pullback, second entry long. Price moves in a pairs of 2. This is a high probability setup. It's tied down to human psychology. Also, since I'm drawing the trend lines because I want to be on the right side of the market, I have to draw the shortened trend lines as well, because after trend line will break, price will attempt to make a new extreme. So we have this downtrend correction, we have a break and a new low. So we have a 2 like a pullback to the EMA and to the trend line. EMA and a trend line are 2 key entry points. They're running together congruently, and the more key entry points you have, the stronger the setup is. And this is the first entry long, second entry long, 2 key entry points in an uptrend. So this was my first trade that I took, and I put my limit order in right here, and on this bar I got filled, and my runner unfortunately got stopped out. But take a look what happened right here. I didn't have this downtrend yet, but I was expecting for prices to shoot higher, but we didn't. We instantly turned down from this point on, and we have a double top right here. So I already, started to paying a little bit more attention, because we were supposed to go higher and we instantly turned down lower. So right now we are going sideways, and then we have a move up and we instantly created a triple top and turned down. So from this point on, I know that I have a break of this spike and a channel pattern, and I was expecting a new high the entire time. But remember, we trade the market we get, not the market we want. So even though I'm expecting for price to create a new high, we just have a triple top, and there's enough indications for me that sellers are in the market and the buyers are too weak. So prices turn down lower, and we are just now going inside of this consolidation in this trading range. We have a first entry long, pullback, second entry long. But price right now is going sideways. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars going sideways. EMA is exactly in the middle of those bars. Take a look how EMA is in the middle of those bars. And the trading range is getting much tighter. You guys can see that we are creating a wedge pattern right here. So I really wasn't sure what to do here, because I wanted for price to create a new high, and we didn't get that. But I was also hesitant to sell because the overall, BAS was up. So I was just sitting on my hands right here. And once we created this move down, this low right here, that's where I found this trend line, and I recognized that this is a downtrend, because each new low, each new high is lower than the previous one, and we push down lower in here. Here, I think this could be a tricky trade for a lot of beginner traders, because I keep telling you that most breakouts of trading ranges will fail, and they do. But for whatever reason, on this bar, we just ticked few ticks lower, and then the breakout fell, and then continued working higher. But I wasn't really tempted to take this trade, because how low the prices were creating the lower highs. Each new high were lower than the previous one. And the fact that we couldn't even make it higher right here, and we just turned down in the middle of trading range and pushed lower, I knew something was off here. But if you faded this breakout right here and you got stopped out, I think you followed the rules, and you can't be too mad about yourself. A lot of times it will just create this little trap and then continue working in the direction you thought it was going to go. But 9 out of 10 times those breakouts of trading ranges will just fail, and you saw me demonstrating it plenty of times. And prices continue working high. We have a first break of this downtrend. We pushed below EMA, and we have a first entry long, pullback, second entry long, failure below EMA. High probability setup. We are still waiting for price to create a new low. Right now we're below EMA. I think this is a good trap and trade worth taking. And guys, just because I didn't take this trade with the arrows doesn't mean that's not a good setup. Remember, I'm not just watching the chart like, you know, watching a paint dry. I'm doing other things as well, and market can move fairly quickly. So sometimes I may just miss a setup, or I'm not feeling like entering, and that's the part of trading. And right here we have a break and a new low, and we have a first entry short. So right now we are pushing above the EMA. So I'm starting to feel that this downtrend played out with the break and new low, and we're pushing above the EMA, that the buyers may start to get active again. They were active from the very beginning of the day, so they may be active now. We have first entry short, failure, second entry short, failure, and here I had my first losing trade because I was naughty. I didn't pay attention to my rules. And some of you guys are asking me about my win percentage, and I understand why, but my win percentage does not represent the full potential you can achieve. I keep preaching that you want to take the reversal patterns that are touching the EMA and that are a little bit low, and you're not going long into very high of the move. And what did I do? I went long directly into the high of the move. I am not at the EMA, and this is a doji looking bar. I just broke my rules because of the psychological error. But here, I'm not too mad at myself because I knew what I was getting into, and this is a tiny little bar. The risk is so small. I was willing to take the risk in case I will miss the trade. I wanted to be part of this reversal pattern because we have a break and a new low. Overall, we started with an uptrend and we are pushing above the EMA. This felt right and I took the chance here. So I wasn't really mad, but I still should have waited for the proper reversal pattern, and it came right here. We finally touched the EMA. We had more of a bullish bar because the stim on the downside is much bigger. We trade up lower, and at the very end of the bar, prices started trading higher. This is where I re-entered, got my exactly 8x right here, and it wouldn't have mattered because it ended up working anyway. And it's actually a shame that, I probably would have still gotten stopped out. Oh, I wouldn't have. That's a shame that actually, if I didn't get filled here because I was early in the queue, so I got filled very quickly. We didn't have to tick through. But if we had to tick through the order, I would still be inside of this mess and I would be holding a gigantic runner. That's a little bit. I got lucky that I got filled, but on the other side, I got unlucky with my runner because my runner got instantly stopped out. And now you have a double top right here. You have a first entry long, failed. Second entry long, two-legged pullback, high probability setup at the key entry point, and we are working higher. I don't like this trade because we are starting to go really sideways here, and we already have a break and a new high. And if you extend this resistance line, you're going long into this resistance line. Yes, you got plenty of room, but still, this may start to look like a trading range, and you don't really know it's going to do that, even though the EMA is holding so nicely. And this is very tempting. So, you know, it is aggressive trade, but I just don't like how sideways we are going because this is really starting to be a sideways movement. And I just don't think it's worth taking a chance. This was much better entry. And prices push working higher. We have a first bearish leg, first entry long, second bearish leg, second entry long off this trend line. First entry long, second entry long, two-legged pullback, high probability setup. I only like this setup if you can find this trend line right here. If you don't have the trend line, you are far away from EMA and you don't want to take this trade. You want to take this trade only if you can muster the trend line quickly enough from these first few swings. And this swing confirmed it. That's the only reason why you want to take this setup. And prices are working higher, prices are working higher. And there's no really setup right here. There's a hidden two-legged move up here, but I just don't like it enough. It is off the trend line, yes, but we created a double top, so it's technically a first entry. There's just a hidden second entry long. Once again, advanced trader can recognize this, but I really like the highest probability setup. I'm just going to mark it as an aggressive setup because it is a two-legged pullback at the key entry point. It is true that by this time you already have to have this trend line, so this gives this trend a little bit more credence, but it's not what I want to see. But prices are working higher. You have a break and a new low, and you have a first break of this channel working higher. So we're expecting a new high, but you push below EMA and this bar is bearish, and it would have worked easily, but you have a two-legged move down. But I don't think you want to take a chance with this bar being bearish and you're below EMA. You want to let this correction play out, and you have a four legs working lower areas. First entry long, second entry long, third entry long, fourth entry long, double bottom, and price is suddenly pushed above the EMA. So you know that this downtrend played out with the break and new low. We just created additional more legs. We have a double bottom, pushed above the EMA, and we have a first entry short, pullback, second entry short. We're not looking to go short because overall trend is up. And we have a first entry long counting from this high, first entry long, pullback, second entry long. Perfect price action. It couldn't get any easier. EMA is holding prices nicely. These two attempts are still above the EMA, and it is a trapped failed second entry short, and it is a perfect second entry long with the trend. You're waiting for a new high, and there's probably can be some sort of bigger pattern. You don't really need this, but there may be for sure some sort of pattern. Let me see if it works like this. You don't really need this, but there's a potentially some sort of bigger pattern. Or maybe if I use these lows, let me see. This may be, oh yeah, this looks a little bit better. This looks a little bit better. You don't really need this, but there's just some sort of bigger pattern. Every time the trend is so strong, you just want to pay attention to the EMA, and price keeps making new highs, and at this time you probably want to be done with trading, especially on Friday. But just to show you guys that you have a first entry long, pullback, second entry long on this bar right here. This is a two-legged move at the EMA. Quick, easy scalp here. So I hope you guys had a great trading day. Rejuvenate during the weekend, and I will see you next week on Monday. So take care, everybody.